Right. Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to our workshop, inclusive and multilateral approach to protect the youth online, a priori and posteriori solution from Asia Pacific. Sorry, it's a bit long. Yeah, it's a bit. I was a bit worried if no one will show up at 9 a.m. But here you are. Thank you. Great relief. Okay, I'm Akari Noguchi from Yahoo Japan Corporation, taking an honor to serve as an organizer of this workshop today with this expert here. Let me briefly introduce them. David Leung from Asia Organization Limited, based in Hong Kong, and Dr. Wei Wei Bibian Hong from National Chenghe University, based in Taiwan. Ms. Chris Xiang Xing from the Yalian International Education, based in Hong Kong. She's originally from mainland China. And Mr. Jirawat Pumskrey, from Google, based in Thailand. Ms. Marie-Laure Lemieux from Ekpat International, based in Thailand. And Ms. Noelle Francisca de Guzman from Internet Society, based in Philippines. Right. With this expert here from multi-stakeholders group today, I would like to learn the child online facts and would be happy if we can share the knowledge, tips, best practice from everyone, and we can bring back home some tips. Okay. So as we all witness every day, internet is taking more and more time in our daily lives. And people enjoy the great benefit from this dynamic network, but at the same time, we are facing so many problems and issues that never we really prepared in the past. Because of the characteristics of the internet being the worldwide, real-time and easy to spread, incidents or materials will be so rapidly and broadly spread once it's online. So this characteristic may give the negative impact to those who don't really aware of the risk, especially children who are more tend to be involved in the troubles online, such as cyberbullying, child pornography or sextortion, and so on. So there are multiple causes and factors in the background of the problem, so we need to understand the complexity of the matter and multiple possible solutions and integrate them to have the better approach and understanding to make the situation better. Okay, I think issues surrounding children are very complex to cover all in this 90 minutes, but let's do our best. So each speaker here will give the short presentation, followed by the panel discussion. Then we'll have the open Q&A session at the end of the workshop. Okay, let me begin my part. As I mentioned, I'm from Yahoo Japan Corporation, and to begin with, I would like you to understand that Yahoo Japan is an independent company from Yahoo Inc. that was recently purchased by Verizon. We had, although the Yahoo Inc. used to be our main shareholder, we are the separate company taking our own CEO and platform and our solutions. So whenever I say Yahoo here today, I mean the Yahoo Japan Corporation, so please don't confuse. Yeah, it's a bit confusing things. And it's a pity that situation is not same in many markets here in APAC, and Yahoo is now gone. But in Japanese intermarket, it's quite unique actually. So Yahoo is still very strong, taking out 90% of the reach to Japanese internet users, with 60% of share of search on PC. Yeah, on smartphone it's relatively a bit low, but so we believe it's our company's a social responsibility to make the internet as a safer place and grow the new generation to the internet with the right skills and knowledge And we think again that will eventually contribute to our future success in business path. So, as the title indicates, I believe there are actions to be taken before and after the issue arises around children. So, as an urgent countermeasure, against child abuse, child pornography called CSAM, Yahoo is running the internet hotline collaborating with the National Police Agency and helping to delete illegal content online, like child porn or revenge porn or drug information based on the public report, and also collaborating with the International Hotline Center called NHOP. So, because generally victims of those pornography against their will have no idea how to delete it, especially if it's hosted abroad. So we have an expert team to request for removal of those content on behalf of them. But I will introduce more about it in the afternoon in Ms. Marie Laura's session, starting at 1 p.m. in room 202. So please join there if you have time. Okay, so as the aftercare, we have the hotline service. So what can we do as the beforehand? We believe that the most effective way to spread the appropriate web education to children is to provide them to the closest adults around them. Who are they? Parents and guardians. So now lots of parents are worried and not sure if that's okay to have their children to use the internet or digital devices such as smartphone. Because it's kind of new trend. No one really knows the effect, and it's not on the parenting textbook. But it's actually happening. We see every day baby using the smartphone on the trains or whatever. So we established the committee to study child use of the internet with experts like academia and the PTA, the Parent and Teacher Association, and medical experts to really consider what's the effect and what's the approach toward them. And the committee concluded that touch with the internet and devices should be judged and given to children based on their developmental level, not based on the age. So even if your child is a teenager, if he or she doesn't know how to behave, especially online, they're not ready. So children need to learn the online communication skills step by step, just like the real communication. So, be nice to people or don't tease your friends, or your online post is shown worldwide, or there might be wrong or illegal, harmful content online, etc. So the committee published a guideline chart and easy to check up sheet for the reference of parents, showing the easy lessons and tips so that they can give it to children before they say online. So now we are invited to speak at the many PDA meetings at school, but our resource is limited to travel to all schools in the country. So in order to spread our information and the education program effectively, we are collaborating with the local government, for example, Akita or Aomori prefectures, to have the digital education as a part of social education. Since the children grow up eventually and will be gone and new family comes up, it's always changing. So our activity cannot be a single shot. That should be sustainable and a continuing initiative deeply based in the society and local community. So it's better to have many people with certain knowledge than having very few experts. So we provide the up-to-date information through local child centers and the PDA meeting, and also having the instructor educational program, expecting the instructors to be a hub in each local community to spread the information. We believe that if the parents and community have the awareness and the knowledge to the internet and its characteristics, like that will, then we will be able to have the conversation at home about the internet, and that will be the most effective way to prevent the serious issues happens. Most importantly, the conversation at home, because like it's impossible to like just prohibit it from using the internet in these days, and also it's a bit dangerous to just leave children alone on the internet. So let's have the proper conversation at home and in the community as just like the normal agenda of just like raising kids and educating them. Right, that's my part. So thank you. Okay, so shall we start with David?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, maybe can the remote also share set me as the presenter and can control the slide here. I've already logged in the room. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Nothing showed in my stuff. Something's happening here and I can't control. Maybe I just speak and could you help me to sweep the slides. Hello everyone, I'm David from Asia organization. We are supporting a project that is about, thank you, supporting a project, Net Mission Ambassador Program. This is a program focused on the high school students and also the university students. In different Net Mission, we have recruit around 20 students in Hong Kong every year, doing some trainings on the internet governance issue. On that is because we wish them to actively engage in the internet governance discussion, not only participate in the discussion, but they can also bring some impact to the society in the other sense. So we would like them to actively engage in the discussion like the Internet Governance Forum and even like the ICANN, this kind of platform to ensure the multi-stakeholder models can be actively execute in the way that's having the next generation participation in this. For the very main ideas of the whole program is about train the trainers. To tackle those problems on the internet or for the next generation is not only on one specific the stakeholders, but if we can nurture our next generation to let them be trainers, it can have more impact in the other hand. So after those trainings and direct participation, Net Mission will also organize different local and regional initiatives to engage more next generation and other participants to join the discussion as well. As you can see right now, during the APrIGF conference, we also organized the Youth Internet Governance Forums alongside. It's not just an alongside program, but also integrated in different areas in the APrIGF workshops. You can see for this workshop, we also have some youth from YIGF participate in the workshops because we really reach the youth to have a taste on how the thing is going. So maybe the youth can also raise your hands here to say hi to everyone. You can just, people in the room can approach to them to check afterwards. There's someone here, maybe they're shy. So for the past, YIGF is already organized for 8 years, because for APrIGF is also organized for 8 years. So every time we also have this kind of program to engage youth in the discussion. Not only for the regional YIGF, we really wish to have some expansion, not only in the region, but also in the local area. Because for YIGF, we organize every year in the regional meeting. But we also wish that every countries may have their own YIGF for capacity building for the next generation. Sharing some example for last year, we have organized one HKYIGF. This is targeting high school students. On that, we also integrate those online safety issues in the discussion. For example, we have some forum that the children themselves, they will discuss what topic to be discussed in the very last forum is about the discussion on the areas like privacy, security, freedom of speech, and human rights. It is the area they raise their concerns on, and finally pick these 3 items as their final presentation and discussion in their debate. We also integrate some programs like 1 minute video production in the other hand, that the student can also promote and produce the materials by themselves by using those videos and also mobile phone to take a very short video for this production. So they can also share with their peers after their work. These are some of the training material we have prepared. So you can also go to the website. This is www.netmission.asia/teaching-materials. You can have a look on those materials about how we can organize the camp and also different kinds of capacity building activities. This is the part of the net mission work and also the Dr. APrIGF work in the sense to support the youth engagement. But not only on the youth engagement and the children participation areas, for child online safety promotion and protection is also, we also contribute on these areas. There's a new organization we are supporting. This is the eHealth Association. In this year, we have organized a roundtable to discuss how we can collaboratively join hands to support, to support the child online protection issues in Hong Kong. Also inviting APEC Thailand and also the APMAC to share the regional experience with the local community on how we can tackle the child sexual abuse content online. So there is a very good practice to having some exchange of ideas and sharing those good practice and best practice in the hand to move the things forward. So for the roundtable participants, we also have a mind that it is important to establish a new organization to move all the things forward, to join hand on the battles on like protecting children online. You can see we got government representative, technical community, NGOs, academia, and also legal sector. It is very important to have different stakeholders to join hand on the effort. So we encourage all participants and maybe all stakeholders to work together to achieve the goal. Probably we'll have like 3 areas of focus as discussed in the meetings to focus on. Bring some mechanism on reporting those child online sexual materials like the child porn. There is a mechanism that public can report and with the different stakeholders engagement, and we can tackle the problems. Also having some advocacy work on policies and also research is another focus. And last but not least, of course, the education is very important. That some workshops and awareness-raising activities can done in the community to raise awareness. So this is the somehow the end of my short presentation. So join hands together, we can build a better internet. So there's some of our hope. Thank you.
Can anyone help her with the presentation? That's right. One moment, please. Okay, here you go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Weiwei Vivian Huang from Taiwan. I teach in the university, National Zhenji University, and also since 1999, I concentrate myself to online safety education for young people in Taiwan. And okay, according to my, I think it's less like 19 years focus on the online safety issue and action. I think in Taiwan, there are 3 stages for online safety action. The first stage, I think, is from 2000 to 2008. At that time, we regard the online safety issue, we just think it's illegal and harmful stage. And also, we cooperate with ECPAT, the global service, to take the notice and take down policy. And the second stage is the internet content rating stage. It's also overlapping from 2005 until 2010. And the third stage now is from 2013 until now, the present. We call it netizen stage. Why? Because it's not enough to that the public sector to take down the illegal, harmful contents, but also the most important is how to educate all the parents and all the young people and children to know to choose the better content. Okay, and this is past. This is the new research, our annual research for online safety, children's media behavior. We have started this research since 2004, sponsored by our Ministry of Education. But because Taiwan is a democratic society, so they sponsor for 1 year, and then the rest 15 years, actually we do by ourselves and several friends from different universities until now. And for students using cellular phone in Taiwan, last year, remember in Taipei, we got the experience to share with each other, and this year is in Bangkok. Actually, I went to the first Internet Governance Forum in Greece, 2006. Beautiful nation. Okay. Okay. So cellular phone, the ownership is for last year is 76, almost 77%, and this year is maybe just 76. But among the 77 or 76 owners, actually this year, 92% they own the smartphone. And for media use for students from age 8 to 19 in Taiwan, actually every week they spend at least 19 to 20 hours for mobile phone. And then the second choice is internet. They spend like 60 hours every week. And then the TV viewing. You know, some people just use the Chromecast to use the content from the website rather than the TV channel. And also taking exercise well less than 13 hours a week. And for the portable usage, the front page, when they first start the internet usage, before I think Yahoo would be the top choice. Really? 2009, Yahoo in Taiwan, we cooperate with the online issue action for several years. And at that time, wow, top 1, 70%. But for the past 3 or past 4 years, Google. And for the past 2 years, social networks, Facebook and also YouTube become the top 1. And using motivation, the top 3 would be the video use or audio use or social media. And then the 4th choice is information. For social network participation from age 8 to age 19, less than 60% young students in Taiwan, they join the social networks. from 2010 to this year. It's growing. But since 2015, these 3 years, I think it just stay below 60%. For social gathering, they will meet with each other. Less than 60% say yes, we will meet the online friends. And their social network type, type of social network participation, entertainment, and also relatives, sports, 3C, or dating, online dating. And this is the question for online literacy. We asked about the parents, also asked about the young people, say, could parents show me how to use internet correctly? Actually, I think from 2006, it's almost between 3.3. That's just like 65 to 7 points. But for these 2 years, it's going down. Also, internet is important to students. For this year, it's going down. I think the reason is in Taiwan, online behavior is overlapping with the real life behavior. So it's not so important. It's just daily life, okay? Just like air. Okay, and internet is important to my parents. Okay, parents still, they say, well, it's not so important, okay? Sorry. So, I think in Taiwan, now we try to promote this action, focus on the parents and also the preschool kids. Because before, maybe for the past 15 years, we focus on the primary school students and also the high school students or even college students. But for the past 3 years, we start to focus on the preschool kids. So before we use the microfilm, we have produced, because my background is radio and TV, I graduated from UT Austin. So we produced, at least 70 topics, including cyberbullying, online relationship, online grooming, and also the online game addiction, etc. But for the past 2 years, we find the little boys should be taken care of. So we do the picture books, but the leading role is the boys, because we are not only to promote this attitude or cognition once a semester, but we also start one more mile project. We will stay with the primary school students for the whole semester. Every week we stay with them, and every week we talk them issue with microfilm or picture books. And every year, maybe just for 15 minutes or 40 minutes. But the whole semester, I find after 5 or 6 weeks, their cognition will change. And in the last 2 weeks, we will discuss with their parents to say their observation about their kids at home. They say, well, my kids are different. So I think the One More Mile project did some work for this. That's the reason why we got several stories inside observation for the boys. Because when we talk about online safety issue, most of the time we focus on the girls. Well, girls might be sexual assault or abuse, but I found boys become the victims in the recent years. So boys should be taken care of. Because I have 3 kids, 2 boys, 1 girl. Okay, and I think APrIGF is very important. Why? Because in IGF, it's deal with the global issue. Maybe we'll know more about from the ECPAT representative. ECPAT, they regard child pornography is illegal and harmful content is global, be accepted by every nation. But from Asian cultural values, when we deal with the pornography or harmful issue, it's not only limited to child pornography. That's the reason why it's very important for we to share with each other every year in APrIGF. And okay, this is our core value for Cyber Angel Speak. I'm volunteer president for this NPO in Taiwan. So we will produce some educational microfilm material and picture books, and then we provide education and training program. Also, we have started a hotline. The first hotline has become it's sponsored by government, and then we start another new hotline for the internet addiction issue. So lots of parents, they just call for help, and this is what we are doing now. And international collaboration is really important. So this is American representative, they visit Taiwan. This is, I think it's Yahoo. Also ECPAT. And this is maybe from Hong Kong or Macau. Yes, 3 years ago, I remember. So please, let's just continue to have more sharing and more thoughts about the online issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Next, Grace, please.
Good morning, everybody. So I would like to introduce myself a little bit when they're turning the presentation. So I graduated as a research student in new media on transit impacts from back in 2009, and my first taste about internet governance was in 2009 in Egypt when I was still a student. And I was actually one of the initiators back then for the YGF and APrIGF back in 2010. So how can I use this one? So I'm currently doing carrying out IG research and as well as the IG education back in mainland China for basically like primary school students as well as like junior high middle school students. And I'm one of the research fellows of China Children's Media Literacy Research and Education Center. So what I would like to share a little bit about our work back in mainland China. So there are basically two parts. One part is the research part, and the other part is the education part. So the research goes back to 10 years ago, back in 2006, covering 18 major cities and 20,000 kids aged between 3 to 14. And the survey was conducted amongst students, parents, or even caretakers and teachers. So the education part include the experiential teaching and participatory teaching, and deliverables include online safety issues and awareness, and peer educators, and critical minds, like the cultivation of children's critical minds. So we would love to see how we could influence the policy making as well as teaching materials development and teachers training, parents training, as well as the model IG conferences for the students. I would also like to share some of the numbers that we have in our report for last year. So there are over 7 million netizens in mainland China, and with more than 20 of them are kids aged between 3 to 18. So around 90% kindergarten students play online games. Yeah, so 90% kindergarten, that's preschool, and the weekly time that they spend on their cell phone is around 50 minutes, and the 18.6 is the mobile users of kids. Like around 20% of the kids publish content online. So they have 3 stages, from players to users to hackers. So they have different age groups. Like the age group between 3 to 6, they're basically players, and between the age 9 to 10, they're the users. We call them users, and the hackers is between the age of 12 and 14. So there are certain digital divide in the family. So 77.8, that is the percentage of the children who own a cell phone, like a smartphone. So 90% of them have a social account, and 1/3 of them will add strangers as friends. So this is what they are facing. And around 71% of the parents admit that the kids know more about internet than they do. So they're in the age group of 12 and 14. So there are some major findings that we have. So the parents' concern basically have 4 areas. One is their children's academic performance when they use the smartphone or internet, and their visual health, how it affects their eyes, and the exposure to inappropriate information, and also making bad friends. But it is hard to define bad, right? So there are 4 concerns. So there is incomprehension between parents, teachers, and kids. So there are lack of education for both kids and the teachers and adults. So the parents and teachers are not playing as a good role model for the students and for the kids, and they have relatively weak influence towards kids. So what we have been doing is we started the IG education back in several years ago. So we took example as case studies like share economy, that is quite relevant towards the IG, and as well as the multi-stakeholders approach discussions that was back in Guangzhou, and still that is the multi-stakeholders approach discussion. This is we assign different roles for the students to play as government, to play as private sectors and civil society. They could act like in the role of different aspects. Sorry. So also we would love to students what the kids want. Only kids know what they want. So what features they want in the smartphone. So they were given chances to design a future smartphone. Okay, what do I want? What features do I want? Whether I want protection or not. We also bring one of the primary school students that he was at the right side last year to IGF, and he made his points in a pre-event on day 0, on behalf of a kid. And also one of our deliverables for the IG education is the peer educators. So the kids on the right-hand side is the kids we trained from Guangzhou, and the kids on the left-hand side are the kids from Guizhou. I think some of you have gone there, right? This was not long ago, right? So in Guizhou, Guizhou is in the southwest of China. relatively less developed and less resourceful. Going down a little bit. Yeah, this is also one of the teaching materials the students developed by themselves. So going down a little bit. Yeah, this is in a remote area back in last year in Guangzhou. On the other hand, we are also emphasizing on teachers and parents training. So this is students training their parents. Okay, going down a little bit. So what we want is to influence. We're trying very hard to influence the policy making. So there is online safety protection regulation for juveniles was finally established in January this year. So there is also, we developed also a child version for the kids to know what rights they have online and how they should be protected from inappropriate information. There are also some teaching materials that we developed for the kids. So the finally the teaching, this material is included in public education system since last year in 2016. Okay, so this is also a showcase of our model IG conference last year. So we have different government, like the real government was there, and the private sectors was there, and also delegates from IGF was there as well. So what we want to do in the next step is we are looking forward to the Model IG conference again in this year, and yearly research will start from next month, and we're actually really seriously considering IGF for kids. So so it should be initiated by kids. The agenda settings should involve the decision making of kids as well. So we welcome the cooperation from academia, corporate, and regional international connections and support. Yeah, that's what we look forward to. Thank you very much.
Limited space. Right. Okay. First of all, it's my pleasure to be here to speak to you about child protection. In fact, I keep this issue very close to my heart for two reasons. I have two small daughters, and every time I work on this issue, I feel like I'm doing something for them. And secondly, I think we live in the region where we have serious issues about child protection online, and children here are being victimized. And when I set up my priorities for Google in the region, child protection work is always kept at the priority issues for us to keep and expand the collaboration. Let me begin by, when we talk about internet, in Google, days in and days out, we say that internet is opportunity. We want people to go online, we want more users to be online, to have access, right? And be able to use this opportunity. And we believe that when users are empowered, they can do so many great things. But we have to face the fact, whether we like it or not. Every opportunity contains challenges, right? And maybe danger. And when we talk about the children, we know that they are not yet equipped to protect themselves. That's why adults have a role to play. The question is, what should be the role of the adults? Again, face the fact, whether we like it or not, in the world of digital technology, you cannot really protect someone eternally. The long-term sustainable way to protect someone is to help them to protect themselves. And with the mobile penetration, internet penetration, it's not possible to take internet away from the hands of the children, right? Either the device or the connectivity, the 4G and the 5G that's coming. So we have more and more children going online. So what should we do if internet, for the children is like a playground, They go find a lot of cool stuff, fun things to do, connect with their friends, right? And at the same time, they are vulnerable to the dangers out there. So in Google, child protection is one of the top priorities in the organization that we really commit full-time people and resource to work on it. So in 5 minutes, I will summarize the initiatives that we do in 4 categories. So the first one is protection. So if you're familiar with Google products, in all of our products, you can think about Gmail, Android, Chrome, YouTube. We have the safety center that not only allows you to manage your own privacy, but also allows you to manage the content that will come through the platform. So in YouTube, you have, for example, the restrictive mode, right? You can switch it on, and it will help you filter out the bad content, violent content, sexual content that's not supposed to be viewed by the users. And this is one of the philosophy in Google. We don't hold your data hostage. We allow you to decide for yourself whether you want to share the data, whether you want to filter something, and we have the system to help you assess how secure your system is. And this is available across multiple platforms like Android, Chrome. So I'm not sure how much users really go and manage those. In the past, I did not until I realized about all this. But we encourage users to become more proactive in managing their own usage. The second one, I would call it prevention. So mainly in search, people in Google spend time creating search platform to help people find what they want to find. But in this area, it's a bit opposite. We don't want bad people to find what they want to find, right? So in several countries, actually many countries, we work with local partners to identify the key terms, the keywords that people would use when they want to search like child sexual abuse imagery, right? And we enlist those key terms and then make sure that when people use that terms for search, they would see a warning page. Right? Sexual abuse, sexual abuse is illegal, and then it contains a link that go to the NGOs that we work with, or the police, or the help center, right? Whatever the case may be. And at the same time, we manage our search algorithm in such a way that we take away the content that they look for. Instead of seeing the image that they want to see, they will see like a court case of the criminals being sentenced to imprisonment, stuff like that instead. And this is very few areas that we manage search algorithm to divert the users away from what they want to find. Apart from prevention, we also do removals. So it's clear when you use the Google products in the use terms, it contains like a page-long kind of conditions. And when you create a Gmail account, for example, you click accept, it means you accept those terms, and those terms clearly state that we have zero tolerance on child pornography, or even suggestive content of child pornography. So you cannot keep but the image in your G drive. You cannot upload it on YouTube, right? If you don't know, we allow users to flag it in case it's a user accessible platform like YouTube. We have user report, and you click there. They have a category that it says pornography, and you can click there child sexual pornography. Then it's flagged to Google, and when it's flagged, we look at it and we hash that picture. So in the future, when someone uploads the same picture again, we would know on our platform. To strengthen this, we also work with third parties who we assign as trusted flagger. As you know, users may not flag the right thing, right? So we need to work with someone who we train and explain community guidelines and the policy so that they have more accuracy when they flag. So we have less work to do because they know what exactly they are flagging to us, right? So there's a way to strengthen the cooperation. So, and for those imagery, apart from taking it down, we also report it to the National Center for Missing Child Exploitation, which is required by the law, and it's NECMIC, and also the International Center that we also submit. So the police and the government can tap into those information and do investigation to find the criminal. So basically, we allow users to flag, and we also actively seek those content and clean it up from the platform. And the last thing is empowerment, right? So like I said at the beginning, at the end, you have to help train the children to be able to protect themselves. So we want to make sure that the children have the awareness, the right understanding that this is not appropriate, right? This is not good, right? Have that kind of awareness, and they have the cognitive strategy, know how to deal with it, and be able to use their digital skills to manage their device and the products that they use to save themselves. And also be open to communicate what they find or what they see or what they experience on the platform, so that other people can help them, right? And when we talk about collaboration, it's not just this empowerment section that we work with other people. We work with NGOs and third party across all the 4 pillars that I mentioned, and no one can achieve this alone. So it's a collective effort that we have to keep fighting. And in reality, we have the good guy and the bad guy in the world, right? We have to work together to contain the bad things and allow people to fully utilize the opportunity that's out there. Thank you.
Good morning. I work just very briefly. Thank you very much for inviting ECPAT International to this panel this morning. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I work very briefly for an organization called ECPAT International. We are a network of NGOs, and our mandate is to combat sexual exploitation and abuse of children around the world. So the headquarters, the global secretariat, is based here in Bangkok, but we run global programs, and we have 98 members, in 88 countries all over the world. So what I'll do today, I'm in charge, of a program that is dedicated to combating sexual exploitation of children through the use of technology. This is what I do within ECPAT. So what we agreed with APrIGF is that I would raise some 5 points today, 5 aspects which I think are very important for us as a group to discuss. And then when we open the floor, we can develop more and argue around those points, whether you agree, you don't agree, or you have something else you want to add to what I said. So the first point, and actually most of the things I'm going to raise have been already mentioned somehow through the comments from the previous speakers. The first one is that I think that when we have a discussion around child online protection today, it means having a discussion about parenting in the 21st century. It means rethinking the role of the parents and how they educate their children, and some very interesting points were raised before. And a clear example is what was said, I think, about a Chinese program, is that the kids are teaching their own parents. And for parents who have a mindset of the 20th century, they have been brought up in a very different environment, and you've been brought up as a parent as you are the one who know, and you teach your kids how to behave. So to do it the other way around for many parents is very threatening. That's one major aspect. Number 2, and it was also mentioned, we should not demonize technology and internet. And this is also very important, because when you work on the field, you approach parents, teachers, adults. They think, I have an easy solution. I take the technology away from my kids. Sometimes you hear that. You hear those comments from adults, because they feel so threatened by the technology and internet. They think, oh, I take it away from my kids. It's easy, and then there's no more problem. It doesn't work that way. You know, we wish, but no, it doesn't work that way. We live in a more and more connected world, more and more connected, increasingly connected region, increasingly connected countries. This is not going to go away. This is the way it is. So we have to adapt our behaviors to this environment and don't take the technology away. Because the technology, in a way, as you said, Jerawat, is also an environment, the digital environment is an environment where children exercise their rights also, right? Number three, third point, as a result of what I just said, our opinion is that when you do child online protection, awareness raising, education programs, you should focus on human behavior. It's not so much about the technology, and you said it before, it's about our behavior online. If harassing or being rude to someone offline is wrong, why is it right to do it online? If it's about your values as a human being, you know, if you have empathy towards other human beings, it doesn't make a difference. You should have it online and offline. Why is it okay to film someone who is drowning in a river? Someone was mentioning to me yesterday that in the USA, in Canada recently, some adolescents were filming someone who was drowning in a river, and they were laughing, saying, "You are dying, you are drowning, you will die," and they were filming the person. They didn't call the police, and they posted the video online. This is behavior. Filming has nothing to do with that. Why do you do that? Why do you film and post online? What kind of person you are if you're able to do that? So you have to question your values as a person, your behavior, right? It's not so much about the technology. But the other point a fourth point I want to raise is, but then technology has a role to play in that, even if it's about human behavior. Technology somehow exacerbates the impact of your behavior. It amplifies whatever you're going to say or do on the internet. So 20 years ago, 15 years ago, if you get drunk at a party, you have too much alcohol on the Saturday night, you take a picture, someone would take a picture, but it's like, you know, you go to the shop, you print the picture. You don't know that, but this side, you know that. The room is sort of divided by age group. So you would go to the shop, give the, you know, the roll, and they would print a copy or two copy, and the people who would look at the picture is like your family, your circle of trust. You know, parents will go after you and criticize you, but then the picture is gone. No one knows about it. Now you get drunk, someone very young gets drunk, the friend posts the picture, and the whole world knows about it. And forever. Thank you, that's true. There's no right to be forgotten on the internet. So this is the role of the technology, amplifying, you know, the misuse or misbehaviors on the internet. We need to think about that. And the last point, because my 5 minutes are up, I just heard the bell, is that research is showing that risk is not equal to harm in the digital environment. Easy to understand, the concept is easy. If you do a parallel with the offline world. So as adults, our obligation is to educate our children, young people, about dangers in the world, in the streets, right? So you educate your children, you tell them, you know, you don't go out at night. If you do, you know, you go with someone you trust. There are places where you don't go because it's dangerous, you don't carry a lot of money, etc., etc. Well, but then if you go out as a young person, if you are well educated, if you are aware, if you're resilient, chances are that the possibility of facing harm are reduced. It's the same online. If you are educated, if you are aware, if you've been taught to behave a certain way, to be careful, then you reduce the possibility of facing actual harm. So you can enjoy the beauty and the opportunities that internet is giving you, but then you are educated enough and aware enough to avoid the dangers, right? So those were the points I wanted to raise, so that's when we can discuss it further. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marie. That's a very, very excellent point. I am Noelle de Guzman from the Internet Society. and I will be discussing briefly. So we have this report which just came out, and this is a report that looked at 11 countries. Including South Korea, Japan, Singapore. There's Malaysia as well, and the Philippines and Bangladesh, I believe. But they're right there. I'm going to try and distribute them later on. But this is an output of a research program, a very short research program that was done with Google support. Just to acknowledge Google. And it tries to look at the policies that are in place. So what are the policies that are in place in these countries? What are the laws? Who are the actors? And what still needs to be done? So I'm just going to broadly outline the findings. These are very, very broad findings. But generally, the Asia-Pacific region is progressing steadily when it comes to addressing online child protection issues. So as an example, all of the countries that we looked at, all of them criminalize online child pornography in domestic law. And this is part of the criminal code, not as a dedicated legislation, although there are some in some countries, but a lot of the countries, it's part of the general criminal code. Another positive trend is that there's also now more and more sectors that are involved. Countries are starting to involve their health sector. What we thought was particularly positive was that the education sector is now starting to be more and more involved. And that's important because, as the other panelists mentioned, education is really, really a key solution. But there are also big gaps that still exist. So one of them is that there's still no targeted or comprehensive response when it comes to addressing children's privacy online. The other one is that also a lacking response of comprehensive response in keeping children's information secure. And although it's now emerging, we still need more efforts, especially more coordinated efforts on and more sustained efforts on empowering children. This means equipping children with the tools and the skills they need to manage risks online. This is especially acute in developing countries in the region. The third one is we also need more initiatives to better engage children, to better understand their views. What I find really good about this panel is that we see those emerging. This was emphasized in the other panelists' presentations. So I think that's very important. And this is quite important, especially now that we're looking into creating policies. If we want evidence-based policies, then we need to engage those to whom the policies are targeted. One alarming trend, though, is that there's an increasingly common filtering and monitoring systems are increasingly being used. And they seem to be more and more accepted as a way of mitigating risks. Now, that's not necessarily bad, because filtering does have a role, but it's not going to solve everything, as what we've already seen. And what we've seen, as with other filtering systems, there's always a risk of under-blocking. So that means that you don't get to block all of the content that you want to block, or over-blocking, which means that you inevitably block the content that you don't want to block. We do have some recommendations, but I'm not going to go into that now. I think we should go into the interactive discussions first. Okay, great. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Yeah, surprised to know so many initiatives are actually happening. Great. I'm impressed. So I was wondering, well, yeah, I think we have something in common and something different, yeah, depending on our countries. But okay, let me ask some questions. I was wondering if you see certain things that is particular because of your society or culture? I mean, for example, in Japan, it's not illegal to leave children just they are like in some countries like say United States we cannot leave children under a certain age, I think 15 years old or something, or 12. Okay, yeah, so kids always taken care of or supervised by like a babysitter or something. Yeah, but in Japan it's not like that, and since more and more parents are working, both a mother and father, and also kids go to the supplementary school after school, or go to piano or ballet. So in many cases the kids just go somewhere by themselves. So that's one of the reasons why kids own the smart mobile device to make sure the parents know where they are or they're okay. But at the same time, it can be the gate to be the word, big word. So I was wondering if that kind of social or cultural or some characteristic in your society have something to do with the kids and relation between kids and online mobile device and so on. If you have any idea, please let me know.
Well, from the research that has been done and across countries, and you just mentioned one of them, there is I'm aware of another one that is called Global EU Kids Online. For those of you who are not familiar with it, very briefly, there is a EU Kids Online initiative. It's a survey that was conducted some years ago in Europe across more than 20 countries, very interesting for the first time. And then what they did is that they conducted surveys around the online risks and harm with the kids, some age categories, and the parents. And then they compared. It was fascinating. It's available online. And last year they started. It's led by the London School of Economics. And last year they developed a global version of it. So it was really, the idea was to adapt a European kind of a methodology, and a methodology adapted, tailored to the European characteristics to global level, and take the same kind of survey to other countries. And I'm saying that because they piloted it in 4 countries, and one of them was the Philippines. And the findings, I have the executive summary here, back to your question. So when you read through the findings, you can see that some answers, you see similar patterns of behavior across countries, whether it's Argentina, South Africa, the Philippines, and Serbia. But for other findings, there are some differences between the country. So for example, in the Philippines, 62% of the children, they do access internet from home, predominantly. That's what they found. For other findings, children tend to access younger than in other countries. But there are also similarities, so it really varies and depends on the question they're asking.
I think you are mentioned the digital babysitter, right? Issue of digital babysitter happen in every society. In Taiwan, especially in summertime, we just let the parents and the school teacher know how to balance the children's leisure life. They need to expand their relationship with friends, with family, and also using media. But media is not the only thing. Yeah, it's not the only thing. They also need to know how to get along by themselves, because we found some case about the internet addiction. Actually, because they feel lonely, and also they don't have their goal, so they just try to spend the spare time on IT devices. So we try to train the preschool kids how to stay by themselves. I mean, not stay home by themselves is against the law. I mean, how to get along with themselves sometimes. Thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, most of the time when kids are in primary school or middle school, their smartphones are collected by the school. So it is in mainland China. Yeah. So it is not allowed to use mobile phone back in schools. So after school, it is more like a release for students to I finally find a time to be with my phone. So this is something that needs to be addressed. So how to deal with the relationship between the school, the teachers, and the students and the mobile phone. This is something that we are trying to explore and to see how we can find the balance between among them.
Actually want to share about some findings from participants in the roundtable this year in Hong Kong. A partners from Hong Kong Family Welfare Association, they have done research about what is the parents' concern most about the children using online activities or online devices. Of course, of their top concern is children addict to those online games, but not about those privacy issues or even connect to inappropriate content. So I think it is quite common for the parents' concern, rather they will focus on their academia results or they will just use the device for entertainment. So I would say probably this is one of the concerns of parents, but not the other stuff like protection in the other hand. Academic results will be probably in the Asia region focus of those parents.
So because kids spend too much time online and have less time to study, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Problem with internet addiction is not only the children. I think adults as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes I
agree.
Step back and look at my own behavior and wonder like, what am I doing? Right? And actually, even among the team in Google, we talk about this when we get together and talk about how we should work together as a team. And in Google, we have a ping system, so you can just text one another. You can create a group chat box easily, so you can, instead of calling them, organize a conference or email them, you can ping them. And and big question comes up, like, how should you, well, the question was, how should we manage this ping system? Because it's very distracting. You on a conference, you're reading something, you're writing an email, you're drafting a paper, and then your teammate ping you, and you feel obliged to reply, and that reduces productivity dramatically, right? What should you do to carve yourself out from that system temporarily without offending the other side and without compromising your ability to manage crisis, because they may contact you on urgent matter, right? And we had a long discussion about how to manage this ping system. For children, I think it's very important, and I observe this myself from my daughter. Right now, tablets become the new babysitter, really, right? Because they can capture the attention of the children really effectively, and they can sit still for at least like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you can do your own things, right? But it's not good because they do not have the right balance of the physical world and the digital world, right? You need to, this is my own personal belief, you need to, like Well said, you need to, Vivian said that you have to train the children how to live by themselves, enjoying things around them, the trees, the nature, the people, and live without this device, at least from time to time. I totally agree.
Just to add a bit, so very broadly, when it comes to policy, what we've observed so far is that countries tend to address issues very actively. So they, they address issues as they begin to experience them. But that's not necessarily bad, but that's where education becomes important, because there's a limit to how much law you can, how much you can legislate. But with education, as Marie emphasized, if the responsible behavior, if children are taught to be quite ethical and responsible in what they do online, how they behave online, and how or who they interact with online, then you're empowering them to make decisions, and that's a positive. That's also a positive development in recent policy. So now we're starting to see policies that allow children to do that. So we're seeing policies about online consent. So recently, there's a new policy that's about to be implemented in Vietnam, for instance, that would allow children that to request authorities or ISPs to take, or children or their guardians, to take down content about them on the internet. And also, if you're going to post information about a child, then you have to ask either the child or preferably their guardian before you post that online. So it's important to recognize children's agency, because it's granted that as children use the internet more, they become more exposed to risks, but then there are also increasingly, research is also finding that children are able to learn to cope with them. So they can be taught to cope with those risks. So it's, we don't have to restrict everything.
Thank you. Yeah, there's another question I was about to ask you is like, how do you work with other stakeholders to resolve the online issues? But actually, like in presentation, most of the things are covered. But okay, is there anything like you think it's challenge, like you still like need to work more comprehensively with the government, or like you need more like social opinion from young age, or concerns from parents? If you have any like concerns or challenges like that you need to work with other stakeholders, please speak up.
So as you said, it is very clear from what has been said so far that the topic is across sectors, and you can look at it from different angles, and you have to find solutions from all of those angles. One of them is the health sector. I think we discussed addiction, but there are other health implications to long hours of using technology, postures, looking at devices, at screens. Maybe there is a role for the private sector, the parents' education, etc. But the health sector also, I think, plays an important role. And you can read in many countries, you can hear some health professionals raising issues. And recently, for example, outside of this region, in France, a group of pediatricians, doctors specialized in children, they said that they're starting noticing among their patients, very young children, symptoms of autism, that children who have autism, because they're saying that they are exposed to so many hours to screens, iPads, etc., that they have observed that this is really now causing some serious health issues in a certain group, in those children being exposed. So they wanted to raise the attention to the government and say, hey, we are now on the verge of, a whole generation of children who are going to be exposed to that, and we need to do something about it.
Just to add on that, I forgot to mention, I think parental control is one of the key focus that we're working on in Google. And we're talking about something like the parents' account can also add children account into the control panel, and you can set time allocation of how much time your child device can be active online, like 3 hours a day. And once you run out of quota, then that's it, it cuts off, something like that. So you parents have more control over the device of the children.
So you already have, or you're planning?
Not yet. That's one of the ideas.
Oh, it's not.
Not yet, not yet.
You don't like it.
I think your question is about our opinion about our public sector's representative in every country. Our observation, is that right? Okay. In the past 7 years, I'm lucky I got a chance to work with our public sector and also private sector different representatives to promote the online safety action in Taiwan. I find the public sector representative depends. Few people regard it's a mission, but most of people regard online safety policy as a duty, even obligation, or complaint. But I think it's important for both public sector representative and also private sector representative to regard children protection is very important, and also it's a mission, not a duty. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Actually, for your question, I'm just thinking about the sharing from the young groups here yesterday from the Children's Media Literacy Education Center. They share a very interesting videos about an interview with the children and the parents. Indeed, the question to the children is about if you have a chance to choose, you choose the time to spend with your parents or spend the time on those digital devices like smartphone or video games. Unexpectedly, the children will choose, they would like to spend time with their parents. On the meanwhile, the parents are listening to the video in the other room. The parents is unexpectedly guess that the children will absolutely choose video games and those online games than them to spend time with them. So for this impressive video sharing, I just come to my mind is, of course, we agree that we have to have those kinds of collaboration between different stakeholders and also for the public sectors and industry to work on the protection areas. The one who really link to children themselves, of course, we have those children empowerment work, but parents is first touch. I mean, they very work closely with their children. So I'm just think about this as parents should be one of the most important stakeholders to doing some protection on their children. Also echo to Mary's point previously about the parenting. Of course, I do think it's important to let the children to teach their parents. I mean, in the other way, is a new parenting style nowadays. It's not like the traditional way. It's not always like for what parents say. I think there's more interaction between parents and children. Communication is a very important and crucial element in nowadays digital world. Yeah, thank you.
I would like to address the questions from a different perspective, like echoing to Marie's the research, like the global online research. Actually, the netizen, the quantity of the Chinese netizens is quite large. One of so while actually the research was not included in the global research, right? Sonia's research, due to I think most of us are aware that due to the discourse system, different discourse system back in mainland China. So what we want here is to like make the inside information really revealing, to share more information about how internet usage is back in mainland China and how children are protected back there, and we would also love to see more and more international joint forces we could work together and to see to at least to push something slowly to happen.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, we are now about time, so do you have any questions or comments from the room very quickly? If You have any? Oh, and remotely as well? Oh. No? Okay, so there is one from, okay. The one from the back, please, go.
Hello. Hi. Okay. Hi. This is Kelvin from ICANN APAC Hub. I'm also looking into youth engagement. I think some of the colleagues know me here as well. Just a comment, or rather a request, because I noticed that there's quite a few youths and as well as very young audience here as well. So I would like to ask them to also ask questions of the panelists, because I noticed that a lot of the panelists talk about education and values, and maybe not this panel, but somewhere else they talk about self-responsibility as well. So I would like to ask the audience here, the younger audience here, what are some of the problems they faced while they are online? What are some of the difficulties that they had? And I thought this is a good chance for you to ask the audience. Thank you.
Okay. Shall we ask to the young audience here? Yeah, younger people than me, maybe. Do you face any like challenge, or like do you have any online issues at this moment?
When I in the internet, I will see so many bad information for us, just like the games of the Royal Glory. It's a mobile game. Maybe lots of children like to play this game, but some people can't control ourselves. So many children will play this game all day and all night.
Okay. Thank you. And I think it's about time to finish. But okay, you have the sorry. Okay, one more question. Let's say one more question from.
Hello. So this one is from remote participant.
Okay.
Named Nani. From Youth for Right. Question to all speakers. When it comes to the process of decision making in your small or big projects outcomes, as well as knowledge sharing on taking the step forward on issues impact youth, what are the best methods or ways to communicate with the current youth better to make them understand the issue that you're fighting for them?
Yep. So as I mentioned previously in my sharing, and thanks for the question from you for rights. Actually, I do think empowerment is a key issue because it's not like the adults speak for children or speak for teenagers themselves. It's better to have children and teenagers speak for themselves as a peer supporters, and even they can be the trainers for the whole program. So is some of the method we can use right now. As we also have youth participants here, so we would really like to engage or encourage you guys to organize those like the local APrIGF or even the other platform to share your opinion or raise more awareness on the issue. Thank you.
Just to add to what David said, I think it's also important because children, when we talk about children, it can be anyone from, I don't know, an infant to a 16-year-old or even an 18-year-old in some countries. So it's important to also develop age-appropriate materials because these children respond to risks differently. They are exposed to different risks. They use the internet differently. But I suppose the underlying factor is that we have to start them young. I think, as Chris mentioned, children start to use the internet in a variety of ways by age 10. By age 13, they become content creators. So at the moment, we're trying to incorporate digital literacy in schools, but they start quite late, maybe in secondary level. But we really have to start them young, and we have to integrate them, as in the curriculum as part of the educational system.
Great, thank you. Thank you yeah.
Just very quickly, there's not one recipe that is tailored to all countries or age categories. That's the one basic principle. But one thing that has proven very useful is what you mentioned: peer education. Peer education is really usually has a lot of impact on children in this field. Thank you.
Thank you everyone so much for this time. We learned a lot from you guys. So, right, so, okay, let me conclude this workshop. Thank you for joining us, everyone in this room, especially you. Okay, so I think there is no key one shot to solve all the problems surrounding them, but the important thing is we should keep on learning from each other, from all the stakeholders, and play the role and collaborate. And it's not like a 20th century parenting just one way, but we should learn from the new young generations, and we keep on, because the internet keep on changing, we should keep on running and challenging, and all this. Yeah, sometimes the rules and laws are behind, because the internet is very speedy and new. So even if it's not clearly there is no clear regulation for the instant, if something is obviously violating the human rights or causing the problems or endangering children, we should take an action immediately. So hope we can share the knowledge from today back home, and we can keep on going to minimize the harm to children by education in advance and immediate countermeasure afterwards, whenever whatever happens. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, you can take the Internet Society report at the front door. Yeah, take it freely.
I should take it.